Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It is February 14th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And we had a nice reversal. We trended down till maybe mid morning, and then we just rallied out of there like crazy. Really nice rally. Relatively easy channel to find here. Um, and this is a strong trend. Somebody else sent me an email and said, I really have a hard time going long into the highs of the days. But when you get you know, generally you don't want to go long into the high of the day or short into the low. When you get a strong trend like this, if you don't get an entry. It's plain, it's really plain as that. So, I don't know what else to say about it. It's hard to do, and generally you don't want to do it. But if you see a trend like this, you just about have to take it. You don't have much choice. And I see another trade I forgot to mark here. This one should have been marked as well. There's a little trap there. But anyway, yeah, it's you have to kind of just weigh your, how bad you want an entry, and when it's a strong trend, and we keep bouncing off that trend line, you just what it is the trend is so strong it doesn't back up very much. It just keeps going higher. There's obviously a lot of buying going on right here, and the market, nobody's selling, and the market can't back up very much. So um, if you don't buy into the highs of the day, you're not going to get an entry, unfortunately. So um, if you're not comfortable with it, maybe you just go to sim and sim trade it to prove to yourself it does work. But I get it. It's most days if you trade into the high or low of the day, you're going to pay for it. So um, but at the same time, you have to learn to switch gears when you have to switch gears. You just don't have much options. So um, else you don't get many trades. But anyway, let's back out a little more, talk about the trades. And but I thought I'd mention that. Early on, I wasn't sure if it was the blue channel or the red channel, but really, this is the high, and so that's the first two swings off the high. And in the end, I do believe it played out, and you see we got a break. We didn't quite get a new low. We came within a tick, and then it just reversed on out of there. So, but the whole way down, you're swinging both sides of the EMA. And whenever prices are doing that, um, you know, you can really trade it almost both ways. So there really weren't a lot of trades early on. Really, when the rally started, that's when all the trades really showed up. So, but I wanted to leave that on there just so I could show you what I was looking at around 8:30 or 9, just after 8, maybe 8:45 or so, just in case. But in the end, I believe it's the brown channel, and really that is the first two swings off the high. So, um, but what I originally did was I drew it across these lows and pulled it up, and it looked like it was fitting, but it just prices couldn't get back up there, and so it tells you something's maybe going on. And so you draw this trend line, and then this was real tempting to go short here. If that had been a really bearish bar instead of a doji, I might have taken it because it does confirm that trend line, and it is turning exactly where you would expect it to. So, but that's a doji, and then this one, it's kind of bearish, but it has the same low. So you might have let it break below this one, and still, we could probably argue for it to be green. But your stop still has to go above the very high. And I think you're better off to wait on a lower high. But notice we confirmed that trend line again before we went lower. So, it might have been worth considering, but so I'll go ahead and mark it green. But let's talk about the trades. First trade I saw, we made a double top here. I think it actually goes one tick higher and then turns down, gives you a big bearish bar. It is a second entry. Notice there's a new low there. So first entry short, pullback, second entry short, fairly bearish bar. This one's real close to being red. There is a little trend line that you probably want to mark right there, and you do get a close and a couple of legs up. So there's generally, though, off a double top like that, you want to wait on a lower high, which doesn't come till over here. So I was a little bit leery of that one, but all the same, it's you might want to take that trade. And it's real close. You could probably argue for it to be red. It's that close. But I'm going to leave it green for now just because, you know, it, this is looking like a range day really at this point. But then we make a lower low and lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. That's a downtrend. But the fact that it keeps swinging back and forth above and below the EMA, you generally can trade that both ways. So, um, but anyway, you get a lower high here. So big bearish bar like that one. And that's a nice trade. You should have had a runner there. You probably would have had a runner off this one as well. And pulls back and gives you a failed second entry long. Notice that high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. Actually, the second entry is here, but this is all still part of the same move. Notice it never goes lower. So you can still, that's still where your entry would have failed right there. And so I like entering that one. We're not back down to the lower trend line yet. There is a little bit of support here, so you had to think about that, but it wouldn't have mattered. Pulls back and gives you a little breakout pullback short, and you got to figure this is our target, or if the blue one was going to be correct, then we may be going a measured move. So it still gives you plenty of room. And so I like maybe entering that one on that breakout pullback short. I did mark that one green because there's not a lot of room there, and it could have done just like this and reversed and trapped you, but it didn't. It moved on down. So, but I definitely made that one green. And then of course, where does it bounce? Right off where you expect it to. If the brown channel is correct, and plus this is also a failed break lower below all those matching lows right there. So look how far away we are from the EMA. We're probably going to snap back. So if you want to be aggressive, generally you need to wait on a higher higher low in this case, because we're coming off the bottom and we really don't get one. It just goes all the way straight up, and it does confirm that trend line. We talked about this just a minute ago. You got a trend line working up with no break, no new high, but you got to assume the brown channel is the bigger pattern, so you might consider that one. I'm going to leave it green because it doesn't fit all the rules. Notice it's trying to make a retest here and it can't and turns down. So, you know, the only problem with this is it's way late to be entering. You do get a higher low here and it comes back and tests the EMA. So you might have even thought about going short here. But again, it's just not a very good signal bar. I mean, this one looks pretty bearish, but you got 3, 4 others stacked up there by that time. And so I think you just have to skip those. Of course, you do bounce. You get a higher low here, bouncing off that lower trend line, but it's such a neutral bar. That's definitely a doji. It closes right in its middle. It's not worth it. Just wait, and of course, it comes back up here. And where does it turn down? Right at the trend line. We actually get a close outside this time. Big bearish bar. Go short there. Quick, easy move, and then it doesn't quite get a new low. And it bounces. I like this one just simply because we did have a close and we almost had a new low, and look at that big reversal. This one probably should be green, but I really liked it, just hoping, you know, you could ride it back to the EMA. It's a higher low than this one, so it's basically a double bottom, and we're a good bit away from the EMA, so with it swinging back and forth, we're probably heading back there. So that's the reason I like that one, and the fact that it's basically a higher low as well, because it's a double bottom and it closes, you know, almost on its very high, way much higher than this one. I like that one just to ride it back. And it turns out, look how it pushes right through the EMA. First entry short, second entry short, bounces right off the EMA. You may not have had your trend line yet, but it bounces right off that EMA for a failed second entry short. Reversal pattern, I like going long there. And of course, you would have had runners here. And notice that made a tick lower, so that's a new low. First entry short, second entry short. Again, the failed second entry short right off the trend line. Go long on a break above that. And yeah, you're going long into the high of the day, but you had a nice reversal, and There's your first leg up. I'd be looking for my second leg up. Actually, I probably would have measured this one here first. Let's see what you get. And notice we came up maybe a tick short there and went sideways and then bounced again. But anyway, I would measure that one. Then I would measure the other one in case you continued going higher, and it just kept going higher. It didn't matter. For whatever reason, this thing rallied and we had a strong trend. But you got two failed second entry shorts in a row there, and then you pull up. You actually, you might have even considered entering here, but your stop would need to go down here. So, with your trap being here, this is where you need to enter. But I could see people trying to enter here. You probably wouldn't have got filled because it didn't back up. It moved too quick. It does come back here, but I guess you would have got filled here. So, but then you can enter again here. This one's a little bit more risky. You're going sideways. There's no dojis in there or anything. You're just moving over to the trend line. And so that's a key entry point once again in a big bullish bar. So you might have considered entering there. I think you would be better off to wait. But anyway, you get a failed second entry short here. Notice this is a double bottom, so you count that as a new low. First entry, then you get a measured move. Second entry, it fails. I like going long there. We're nowhere near the upper trend channel line. You got plenty of room. And then you get two legs back to the trend line again. Another second entry long with a bullish bar right off the trend line. Just go long. If this would have ticked lower, I wouldn't have been afraid to maybe consider adding on there. But it didn't, so I didn't mark it again, because once it started going sideways there, it didn't break lower. I'll be honest with you, I started to get a little bit concerned because you're overdue for a break or a correction of some kind. And notice you get one leg back, correction, second leg back. So that's a second entry long. Notice the new high pullback. First entry, measure your leg back. Second entry, that's the first break. This has been a strong trend. We'll retest that high most likely. And it took it a minute to get going, but off it goes. And that puts you into the 2 o'clock hour. So this is a really nice rally. Not sure what generated it. Don't really care. All we do is follow the price action. You got a beautiful reversal pattern right here. But this was a nice rally. So, and if you'd caught most any of these, you'd have probably got a few points off runners too. It's just up and down till this point. But this is a nice rally. And this is not hard to find. You get the reversal pattern right away, draw your trend line off that, and it was pretty easy after that. So, yeah, hope you had a good trading day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. And for today, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.